Good afternoon, sisters and brothers.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming out here as we listen to the struggles of the school bus drivers in Boston, domestic workers in New York, our brothers and sisters right here at BWI, the struggle for a minimum wage. We understand clearly that we are all in the same fight for justice, and we're fighting the same folks. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've been working in the labor movement for about 12 years. I've seen some horrific cases of worker abuse, of exploitation, but it's actually only in the last year when I met the courageous super shuttle drivers at BWI and also at Dulles and National that I found the actual worst case, worst system of exploitation that I've ever faced, and that's sadly in our supposedly progressive state of Maryland. Super shuttle drivers work under a system where they actually have to pay to get a job, $35,000. They're charged, without this ever being explained, a 15% interest. The $35,000, the 15% interest, that doesn't actually get them anything concrete. They still then have to go out and buy a van from the same company, from Veolia, at exorbitant prices. They have to pay fees, $500 a week, each week, for a little transponder to get their fares on. $500 a week. It goes on and on. I'm going to turn it over to our brother Tony in a moment, but just to give you a little bit more background, many of these drivers, they're primarily immigrants. They come here believing in the American dream and are handed this nightmare. They work 17, 18 hours a day, often 7 days a week. Sometimes at the end of that, they go home owing super shuttle money. They go home owing them money. And sadly, we're all, everyone here who is resident in Maryland, we're all party to this. We are all almost joint employers because they have at Super Shuttle what's called a concession contract with the airport. So most of the time when something goes out to bid, the cheapest bidder that meets certain qualifications is the one awarded the contract. At the airport, these are revenue producing for the state. So the company that says to the state, I'm going to give you the most money back, I'm going to kick the most money to you, is the one awarded the contract. So as joint employers, we have an even further responsibility to say no and make sure the system of exploitation doesn't continue. We've got a bill right now in Annapolis, House Bill 917. We actually are going to have a hearing in front of the Economic Matters Committee on Thursday. What this bill would do is say that any company that provides these type of shared transportation services at BWI would have to negotiate a deal with the drivers and their chosen representative. And the reason we've had to go through all of this is because of this exploitative system that they've arranged. They say, hey, well, you're not employees. The National Labor Relations Act doesn't apply to you. Oh, also, we don't have to pay any benefits or unemployment insurance or payroll taxes. So that's the type of system they have. In addition to that, when these drivers who are being victimized but are not victims, they're not folks who have laid down and said, you know, we're just going to take it. They've organized, they've fought for years, and hopefully we're at the finish line. And they've continued to fight in the face of tremendous intimidation.
What's going on today?
Well, today we have a workers' assembly, a We Deserve Better workers' assembly, commemorating the anniversary, the 3rd year anniversary of the Wisconsin occupation. But a large part of this assembly is being devoted to low-wage workers and their struggle, and we are going to be deliberating on some very, very important action events, including May 1st, which is Workers' Power Day. We want to organize a massive march to say no to low wages in Baltimore City, and there is a number of delegations Texas, North Carolina, New York, Philadelphia, who've come here to talk about what their plans are, not only for May Day, but also for a March for 15, which referring to the $15 an hour raise, the minimum wage, and also the Super Shuttle workers struggle. We're forming a committee, and there's going to be a lot of activities to defend these workers and their fight for justice right here at BWI. For instance, Unite Here workers were here today representing the BWI workers there. They have an important action on March 13th. We are calling for a national action at the restaurant bosses national convention in Washington, D.C. on April 29th. And we'll be getting that word out very quickly about, Occupy to raise wages on April the 29th, right before May Day. But then May Day, massive march to fight to raise the wages.
And that's the real big,
Yes.
almost a topical issue right
Yes.
now is the minimum
Yes.
wage, a livable.
Yes, a livable wage.
Yeah.
Livable wage.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.